31 evil clones watches Oscar's childhood and gets arrested. Enjoy.
Me, evil red horse, evil orange horse, evil green horse, evil light blue horse, evil blue horse, evil purple horse, evil pink horse, evil black bear, evil Boris, evil Trevor, evil Carl Johnson, evil Sweet Johnson, evil Big Smoke, evil Ryder, evil Mr. Thomas Animator Gaming, evil Christian Animate 2K7, evil Noah and Ramos Really Rule, evil Wilson Perez, evil Rainbow Pearl 518, evil Arrow 1 Robinson, evil Lovely Abbeys, evil Henry Tran, evil Linux Gamer, evil Emmanuel Thomas, evil Blues, evil Fred, evil Lo, evil Millie, evil Geo and evil Bot, and I going to watch Oscar's childhood. Wahahahahahahahaha.
Hello, Carrots here. Welcome to my Oscar and Louise Outtakes, a series of videos showing you a bit more about Oscar and Louise. These videos are going to be very short. Meet Oscar. His traits are party animal, easily impressed and artistic. He's a child and he lives with his parents and brothers and sisters in Erewhon. His two older brothers are young adults but still living at home, and his sisters are teens. Oscar, being the baby of the family, is becoming rather spoilt. Now, his mother, Nola, has the traits of natural cook, a family-oriented, green thumb, charismatic cat person, and she has a lifetime wish to be surrounded by family. She needs to raise 5 children from babies to teens, and Oscar is the last one, and he's still a child. Nola will achieve her lifetime wish when Oscar ages up to teen. The family live happily in a player-made world, Erewhon, which is available on the Sims 3 exchange. Now, Oscar's father is Gene, and his traits are good sense of humour, family-oriented, bookworm, animal lover, and angler. His lifetime wish is golden tongue, golden fingers. To achieve that, he must master the charisma skill and the guitar skill. And Gene is in the music industry. That's the end of the video, so thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next outtake. And please consider subscribing to my channel, and a huge thank you to everybody who already has subscribed. It's wonderful to see so many people subscribing. So bye-bye for now. Thank you for watching and happy simming. Hello, Carrots here. Welcome to my short video. This is the second one I've done on Oscar and his childhood. Now, we met Oscar's father, Gene, in a previous video. His traits are good sense of humour, family-oriented, bookworm, animal lover, angler, and his lifetime wish is golden tongue, golden fingers. And Gene is an adult. We've met Oscar's mother previously too. Her name is Nola Jacobson, and her traits are natural cook, family-oriented, green thumb, charismatic, cat person, and her lifetime wish is surrounded by family. She needs to raise 5 children from baby to teenager, and she's already raised 4. There's only Oscar left, who is still a child. And Nola is an adult. And now Oscar has 2 older brothers and 2 older sisters. Oscar is the youngest, of course. Now his older brother Owen Jacobson has the traits of artistic, nurturing, brave, animal lover, and lucky, and he wants to become an astronaut. Owen is a young adult. Oscar's second brother is Oliver Jacobson, and his traits are artistic, brave, easily impressed, charismatic, light sleeper, and he wants to be a star news anchor. Oscar's elder sister is Olwen. Her traits are over-emotional, loves the outdoors, athletic, friendly, and she wants to be an animal rescuer. Olwen is a teen. Olive is Oscar's youngest sister, and her traits are gatherer, natural cook, animal lover, and easily impressed. And at the moment, she really wants to become a celebrated 5-star chef. But Olive tends to do things a little differently than the others. She is her own girl, or her own woman. And then there's Oscar. Here he is as a child. He's thoroughly spoilt by his loving family. He was a bit of an afterthought. He's quite a lot younger than the other siblings. But his mother really did want to have 5 children and raise them all to teens, so I suppose Oscar was necessary, and he is thoroughly enjoying his life in the arms of his loving family. Now, there seems to be one other person in the household, although this other person is quite mysterious to Oscar. He's not really sure if she's there or not. Everybody seems to be trying to keep her a secret from him. But he's got some vague ideas that she seems to be quite pretty, and she likes to swim. She also seems to really like his older brother, Owen. Maybe we'll find out a little bit more about this particular mysterious woman. She's older than all of the others except for the parents. He thinks that she might be younger than his parents, but she's definitely older than all of his siblings. But she is very mysterious. Only time will tell. Will we see more of her? He thinks her name might be Simone. And they all live together in this tiny little house out in the countryside, where they have this idyllic life together, and yet they're still close enough to town that they can actually go there when they need to. Now, the house is beautiful and cute, and they absolutely adore living in it, but it is very squishy and very tiny. So Jean and the 2 older boys put their heads together and they built a basement. They're having a small bit of family time at home at the moment, and there's almost no room for them inside, so the basement will definitely have to grow if they're all going to stay living together. And they do want to stay together because they're a very close and loving family. Oscar's father, Gene, is in the music career, and Oscar really admires anybody who could be in the music career. Of course, Oscar is a little bit young yet to understand all the implications of that, but he just thinks it's wonderful that his dad's in the music career, and he thinks he might like to try that too one day. Doesn't know how, and doesn't know what he would do. He just thinks it's a great idea. But in the meantime, he's happy just playing with his toys and holding court with his imaginary friends. And they're all together in their family room. The thing is, Oscar has grown up feeling happy and safe in a tiny house where a lot of people are living around him. And they all make him feel safe when they are there all together. That's Oliver and Olive sitting on the chair there watching TV while their mother stands behind them. And Oliver has just recently aged up to young adult, and he's got himself a job as a newspaper boy because he wants to be a star news anchor, and that's the bottom of the ladder, to get himself to be a star news anchor. He's hoping to get there soon so he can afford to move out of this madhouse. It's just too squishy for too many people, but at the moment he's just going to have to stay there until he gets some money behind him. Of course, there are benefits to living with a large and loving family, even if your father is a bit of an idiot and refuses to earn a proper income because he wants to be in the music career. So they all go off together fishing. And yes, they are all fishing, even the erratic Olive, who does hers by snorkeling, while the rest of all got lines tossed into the lake. Looks like the school bus is there waiting to take them to school. Perhaps it might be an idea if all of those who are due to go to school head off right now. But the parents don't seem to notice. They're too busy fishing, and the bus is honking its horn. And Oscar's there wondering, is anybody going to wake up to the fact that they should be going to school? Seems not. It looks like today's going to be a day without school. But that's fun. wow, I've caught a fish. Maybe they could sell some of their fish to pay some bills. I think Oscar's going to grow up with interesting sets of values about families and income and occupations. Some of his brothers are really into serious careers. Some because they like the excitement, and one because he just wants the money. Because he's never known money, and he thinks it must be good to be able to afford to have a house with a bedroom so that each and every family member can have their own bed. Not necessarily their own bedroom, just if they could please just have a bed each instead of 2 beds between all of them. That would just make some of them so much happier. So I think you've got an idea of where Oscar's at with his childhood. And yes, there are things being caught by the snorkeling sim as well. She was told to go fishing, but she decided to go snorkeling. And there they all are. We'll leave them there fishing because this video's gone on for a bit now. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll give you another update shortly before Oscar and Louise get together properly in Hidden Springs. Although Louise has grown up now and she has moved to Hidden Springs. They're sure to become friends shortly, because this is the Oscar who's going to marry Louise, and they're going to have a wonderful life together. Very unusual life, but it will be wonderful. So that's it for now. Bye-bye for now. Thank you for watching, and happy simming. Hello, welcome to Oscar's Childhood Part 3. Now here's Oscar. He's artistic, party animal, and easily impressed. He's still a child. He lives in his house in Irwin with his family. He has a mother and a father and 2 older brothers and 2 older sisters. Another mystery sim has appeared. She's very pretty. She seems to be quite friendly with Oscar's oldest brother, Owen. Oscar's not sure, but he thinks that Owen might have brought her home one day and she's decided to stay. She seems to be a bit different from the rest of the family. Oscar thinks he likes it, although he doesn't know her very well yet. And she does like to swim. He's noticed that. And she's got this fishy tail sort of thing when she goes swimming. And her legs are all scaly when she's not swimming, when she's at home with the family. Lots of things were changing at home lately, especially since his 2 older brothers aged up to young adult and his 2 older sisters became teens. He's the only child now. He's rather spoilt though. They all seem to adore him, and he gets lots of treats and taken lots of interesting places by all of the members of his family. Yet still there are lots of times when he is alone and he wishes he had a child to play with, and it's those times when he really appreciates having an imaginary friend. Simone had arrived at the dive lot and she was enjoying a swim. She needed a bit of hydration, and she was also vaguely aware of little Oscar. She'd been introduced to him. Owen had told her lots about him, but he was just a kid, and she was interested in other things like fishing and Owen. She'd only arrived in this town recently. She'd swum here from a different world named Isla Paradiso, and it had taken her a long time to get here, and she didn't really like the idea of having to swim all the way back home again. And she was pleased when she met up with a young man who she found quite attractive and who seemed to find her very interesting. And of course, Owen found her totally irresistible because she was so different from any female he'd ever come across before. At first he didn't know what she was other than that she was gorgeous and very attractive, but she showed him that she's a mermaid, and he's going to meet her after work, and she's going to introduce him to swimming underwater. There she just collected a message in a bottle. So after Owen's finished work for the day, he'll come here and he'll swim with Simone. While Suki was swimming waiting for Owen to show up, one of the townies turned up. Tanya came there, and she obviously wasn't very good at diving, and she must have seen a shark because she suddenly got a warm wetsuit. There's got to be a shark around there somewhere. Taras should be safe with a mermaid so close, because mermaids can do terrible things to sharks. So being new to town, Simone had a conversation with this new townie, decided to get to know her a bit better while she waited for Owen to come from work. While poor Tanya was talking to Simone, the shark attacked, so she wasn't safe from a shark attack after all, just for having a mermaid nearby. But she survived, so maybe that'll give her more confidence. Meanwhile, Jean had gone off to sing karaoke with Maria. I don't think he's very good at it at the moment. They were at the Rocky Springs Polo Club. Now this was something that has happened autonomously, and Maria is a surface sim. So I'm not quite sure what she's supposed to do. Maybe she's just a karaoke singer. Eventually they just stopped singing and went their separate ways, and that is when Jean went over to the bar where he sat until he was so tired he needed to go to sleep, so he went home. And that was Jean's night out, alone, without Nola.
Woba, Nivy off.
So finally his meal is on the way. Don't you just hate that? You wait and wait and wait at a restaurant until your meal arrives, and the second it gets put down in front of you, the lights go out and you've got to go home and leave it there. Closing time. At least he didn't go home too early from work. Back at home, Olive was down in their basement practicing her guitar playing. Soon everyone who could, that is everybody who had a bed, was upstairs sleeping. They had one double bed for parents and 2 bunk beds for everybody else to share. They're going to have to add some beds or bedrooms with beds in them down in the basement, I think. Early next morning, Owen rushed off to work in the military career. Next thing, Oscar and his sisters had to go to school because the school bus came for them. That's the lake that's just in front of their house. They swim in that and fish in that sometimes. Oscar just made it. He got on the bus. Except the bus had to wait for Olwen. So Oscar wasn't in trouble that day for being the last one on the bus, like he often is, playing with his imaginary friend and all that. But he got on the bus in plenty of time today. So off they go. Simone and Nola and Jean enjoy a late breakfast after the other 4 have all gone off to work. Or school. There's 5 of them actually. So there's hearts. And then Jean realised that no, she wasn't the one for him. Besides, Nola was standing right behind him in the kitchen. Simone tidies up after breakfast, while Jean spends a little bit of quality time with his wife and the mother of his 5 children. That afternoon, after Owen finished work, Simone ran down to the beach, hoping to meet up with him before she got into the water. But before swimming out to the dive lot, Owen decided he needed to meditate. I think maybe he was having second thoughts about his relationship with Simone, because he was aware that she was almost the same age as his parents, but he still thought she was gorgeous. And she's also the most exciting and interesting sim he'd ever met. When she approached him on the beach, They started chatting, happy to see each other, and there were pink hearts between them. Simone found both the father and the son very attractive, but she realised that the gene was taken. Her best bet was to work on Owen and hope that they eventually managed to have a relationship together that became permanent. Because she did want to settle down and have babies of her own one day, and she was quickly running out of time for that. She hadn't heard of Young Again potions, neither had Owen at this stage, but there was always a possibility. So they started their date and had a meal together at the bar at the wedding centre. There was no weddings on at the moment, so they could go there to have a meal. After they'd eaten and they'd spent some time together at the beach, they went for a swim because Simone was going to show Owen about to scuba dive. But his first dive didn't last long. He got down there and then went straight back up again. Simone was left wondering what happened to him, but she played down under the water for a while and eventually he came back. There were so many sharks. But she spent time at the surface with him and he decided he'd have another go. And this time she was down there with him all the way. So they spent quite some time together where she introduced him to parts of her world. Of course, you'd have to introduce it slowly because she was also learning about humans because she hadn't had much contact with humans before. And she was surprised at how fearful he was of water and being underneath the water. He wouldn't stay down there all day with her. She could stay underwater for days on end and just love it. She never had to come to the surface. But he couldn't manage to be there for longer than a few minutes. But it was long enough for her to begin to introduce him to the wonders of being under the water. It wasn't long before Simone had Owen happily chatting with her underwater as he grew slowly accustomed to the underwater world where she was so at home. They stayed down there together for a couple of hours until eventually Owen's oxygen supply started to run out and he was forced to go back up to the surface. As Owen got more confidence, he left the safety of Simone's side and went off exploring happily on his own until he sensed there was a shark nearby. He had a warm wetsuit moment before she came to his assistance and scared the shark off. So she rescued him from the shark, but she let Tanya get attacked earlier in the day. She certainly chooses who she protects. She might harvest a bit of kelp while she's down here, in case she gets hungry later on. We'll leave them there playing happily together underwater. We probably won't see much more of this pair in Oscar's childhood, but just be aware that they could become an item. Oscar, of course, was completely unaware of any of this. He was safely at home asleep, while these two were frolicking underwater at the dive lot. And I think we'll end the video here, and we'll pick up at this point in the next video. We'll see more of the rest of the family and see what happens next. So, well, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next video. So bye-bye for now, and happy simming. Hello, Carrots here. Welcome to Oscar's Childhood, Part 4. Oscar is a child. His traits are artistic, party animal, easily impressed. Oscar's oldest brother is Owen, who's artistic, nurturing, brave, animal lover and lucky, and he's now joined the military career, and he's also met a lovely lady. Her name is Simone Salmon, and she's a mermaid, and she loves to swim, is adventurous, brave, loves the outdoors, and is a gatherer. Owen and Simone went to swim at the dive lot. Simone wanted to introduce him to her world, because they've become quite friendly lately. They haven't known each other long yet, but they spent all night talking to each other and enjoying each other's company and getting to know each other and the sharks. And Owen was gradually becoming accustomed to being underwater with Simone. He felt quite safe with her, which was good. But then the time came when he just had to leave because he had to report in for work in the military career. There he goes, off to work, and Simone can stay down here and chat with the sharks. Off goes Owen. It's daylight. It was dark when he went down there. The sun has come up and the sharks are circling. There's a waterfall. The pink dawn is breaking in the beautiful rural community of Irwin. This is where Oscar and his family are living and where Oscar spent his early childhood years. And here's Oscar's mother, Nola. Nola wants to be surrounded by family, and her traits are family-oriented, natural cook, cat person, charismatic, and a green thumb. Now, Nola doesn't work outside the home. She looks after her family, and that's her career for the time being. Oscar's other brother is Oliver. His traits are brave, light sleeper, easily impressed, artistic and charismatic. He wants to be a star news anchor and dreams about living in the city one day, and he loves to play the guitar. Like most of his family, that's his first choice of relaxation, either playing the guitar, fishing or scuba diving with the rest of his family. But it's Friday morning and it's time for him to go to work as the paper boy. When he graduated from school very recently, he joined the journalism career and he's still at level 1. He's hoping to quickly advance up the career path so he can move into the city. Olwen is over-emotional, loves the outdoors, athletic and friendly, and she's so soft-hearted she wants to become an animal rescuer. Oscar loves his sister Olwen because she's so gentle. Oscar's other sister Olive is always fun to be with and she's always finding really good things. Her traits are gatherer, natural cook, animal lover and easily impressed. And she wants to be a celebrated 5-star chef, and she's a really good cook. The school bus arrives to take Oscar and his sisters to school while their mother, Nola, stays at home. Nola always makes sure that there's plenty of things in the house to eat and that everything is clean and tidy and working. It takes her all day to keep the house in a way that she feels is best for her family. Nola goes down to the gem cutting machine because she has some gems that she's collected and she decides to cut them herself rather than send them off in the mail. She'll be able to sell them to buy some things for the house. Gene is Oscar's father and Nola's husband, and he works in the music career. So he's at home in the mornings, having his sleep in after working so late at night. When he wakes up, Simone has returned from her dive, where she spent the whole night diving with Owen and showing him around underwater. Now there's something happening between Simone and Gene. Simone wants a man in her life, and she quite likes Owen, but Gene is much closer to her age. Owen's almost still a child. He's only aged up to young adult recently. And Simone's an adult, and so is Gene. But Gene's taken, and at this point, Gene is still very firmly committed to Nola. And he doesn't really think or realise Simone just might have designs on him. So he's happily chatting with her and getting to know her. And remembering the night that she spent showing Owen around with the fish, she's now telling Gene what it's like to be underwater and with all the sharks and other fish that she sees when she's swimming in the ocean. If she can pique his curiosity, he just might agree to go diving with her at some point. Just the two of them. Usually, it's the whole family goes diving together. Now Simone would like to really get to know a little bit more about Gene. I wonder what would happen to Nola if Simone were to successfully lure Gene away from her. And what about the children? even though some of them are all grown up and are young adults now. How would Owen, Olwen, Oscar, Oliver and Olive feel about their father running off with some strange mermaid and leaving their mother all alone with 5 children? Or would he take the children with him? I don't think so. Not if he's running off with a mermaid. They'll be swimming the ocean free together. Fortunately, before Simone could give him any clue as to what her intentions were, it was time for Jean to run off to work. When he got home from school, Oscar just sits down and does his homework quite happily. He doesn't mind doing his homework. He knows that it'll help him when he gets older. And his sisters sit at a table to do their homework, but Oscar uses the floor because there isn't much room in this house. Not yet, but Nola's working on that problem. Much later, after Oscar had done his homework, his mother, Nola, and he decided to have a pillow fight. They whacked and whacked and whacked each other with those pillows. They had a lot of fun, and then they had a hug afterwards. Oscar loves his mother. When Jean came home from work, the whole family was together. Oscar played with his imaginary friend while his parents chatted together. It's bedtime for most of the family. They're all quite tired after their day, working or studying or playing. And things still seem to be quite happy between Jean and Nola. Simone was outside using the telescope. I hope she doesn't encourage any aliens to arrive. I'd hate to see them getting abducted. It turns out that Jean wasn't feeling all that tired, and after he'd had some quiet time with Nola, he went down to their basement and started practicing a new song on his guitar. He's still only level 1 in his career, and he really does need to get some promotions. And of course, when he's downstairs playing the guitar, gradually the entire family turns up. So he usually has an audience to play to, even though they are rather sleepy. Now, this is Olwen. That's Oscar's oldest sister, and Olive is his youngest sister. They both play the guitar too. Actually, most of the family does everything that the rest of the family does. They all play the guitar, and they all go diving together, and they go fishing together. So whatever one does, the rest of them usually enjoy doing as well. Nola's enjoying the guitar playing, even though she is extremely tired. I think she's given up. She's going to go to bed now. But Jean's still got an audience of his 2 daughters. Now Oscar's turned up. Wonder what he wants. He's not going to listen to the music. Just wants to have a chat with his father. I think they're both tired. If Oscar doesn't go to bed soon, he might miss out on having somewhere to sleep, because they've only got the 2 bunk beds. I think that Simone has actually built herself a bedroom in the basement now, so she has somewhere to sleep. Maybe Oscar's missed out on a bed for the night. He's going to work at the chemistry table, develop some of his logic skill. He'll get some sleep later on. He'll get enough before he has to go to school. Actually, there's no school tomorrow because this is Friday night. So it won't matter if he has to sleep in tomorrow. What's he found? He's getting very tired. If he doesn't get his chemical worked out soon, he's just going to go to sleep on the job. Sounds tired as well now. This might be an extra bit of homework he had to do, and he didn't tell them before that he had to do it. And that might have been what he was just telling his father. Looks like Owen's got up now. Oh, he's made it! So now he can go to bed. Hopefully, if he's got a bed to go to. So we'll leave Oscar sleeping. And we'll come back in the next episode with their weekend together as a family. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. And I'll see you soon in the next episode. Bye bye for now and happy simming. Hello, Carrots here. Welcome to part 5 of Oscar's childhood. And this is Oscar. Oscar's traits are easily impressed, artistic and party animal. Now Oscar is actually a base game only sim that I made when I got my new computer and only had the base game installed, and he's in my studio. But as a young adult I aged him down for his childhood videos. The main stars of this episode will be Oscar's oldest brother Owen and their visitor Simone the mermaid, who has their father Jean on her mind. Owen's traits are brave, animal lover, artistic, nurturing and lucky, and he wants to become an astronaut. Simone loves to swim, adventurous, loves the outdoors, brave and gatherer. Simone wants to be a seasoned traveller. She's already travelled all the way from Island Paradise to Erewhon. Now, the house they all live in is that tiny little blue place near the pool. And having a good look at the surroundings, I've come to the conclusion that this pool is actually a crater lake and that the house is actually built inside an old volcano crater. I'm hoping it's extinct. There are other houses built around the lake as well, but they're surrounded by mountains which make it very much like a crater of an ancient volcano. And here is Simone. She's going to go for a swim in the lake. She doesn't have to go far when she needs to be hydrated, although she still does need to swim in the ocean every 2 or 3 days. The ocean's not very far away from their house either. This is the lake where the family like to go fishing together. And in case you were wondering, this beautiful world is actually on the Sims 3 Exchange. It's called Erewhon, Erewhon, and is by Silver Drake. And whenever I want to find it on the exchange, I just Google Erewhon Sims 3, and it's at the top of my Google list. I think she's hoping that Jean might decide he wants to swim too. She's quite keen on Jean, although Jean hasn't worked that out yet. Jean, of course, is the father of the 5 children, 3 boys and 2 girls. And Nola is his wife. And Oscar is the youngest boy in the family, the youngest child actually. His sisters are teens. And his 2 older brothers are young adults now. As you can see from the colours of the leaves, it's autumn. Although Simone really does like Jean, she also quite likes Owen. And Owen is Jean's eldest son. She's hoping one of them will come and swim with her shortly. She's really hoping it'll be Jean, but she'd be okay with Owen if he turned up. There's several houses apart from their place that are built around this lake, but their house is the only one that's got anybody living in it. I'm hoping that doesn't mean it's because there's some indication that this volcano is about to erupt and everybody else has moved out, but this family has somehow missed out on that bit of information. There's plenty of fish jumping in the pool too. It's quite pretty there with all the autumn colours. You can hear Oscar playing with his imaginary friend in the background. He always sings to his doll. He doesn't punch it and hit it like some of the toddlers do, but then he's a child. He's a bit older now. He'd like to have other children to play with, because his brothers and sisters are all quite a lot older than he is. He was an afterthought. Here comes Owen. He's heading down there to play. He'd like to get really friendly with Simone. He thinks she's fascinating. So he's going to be happy to swim. He's been swimming with her already. He's been scuba diving with her. So they're quite accustomed to being in the water together. Yes, Nola, their mother, her lifetime wishes to be surrounded by family, and she wants to raise 5 children from baby to teen, and she has raised 4, and Oscar will be the 5th. So I think that might be why he was an afterthought, because they probably were planning to have only 4 children, and then they thought, oh well, we might as well just have 1 more, just so Nola can get her lifetime wish. So Owen's swimming that towards Simone. There's lots of fish jumping in this waterhole. It's an interesting little house. It's got a junk pile in front of it. Amongst those bushes on the left is a pile of junk. They don't have to go far to search for scrap if they get interested in inventing. I don't think this pool's very deep, but they've got it all to themselves. I wonder if Owen will turn into a mermaid one day. That's a paparazzi in the background, I think. It's not there. There's a couple of them. They're hanging around a lot at the moment. These two are not romantic interests yet. They're just getting to know each other. They may never become romantic interests. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm leaving it up to them, pretty much. We'll see what happens. I've just been enjoying watching Simone's pursuit of Jean, and Jean's complete inability to recognise what she's up to. So I'd say Jean is really not interested. He's happy with Nola. But Simone hasn't given up hope just yet. After Simone and Owen have been swimming for long enough, they get out and head back to the house. There's paparazzi watching the house. There's butterflies outside too, just behind their all-in-one bathroom. See if we can get Simone to catch a butterfly or two. There's Oscar. She got that one. Oscar's wearing a crash helmet now instead of his crown that he's been wearing all the time. Getting the doll out, sit down and talk and sing to his doll. He needs some more children to play with. I don't think there are any other children in this world at the moment. His older sisters are teenagers, and they don't have any other teenagers around either. Actually, I think it's completely unpopulated when you get it off the exchange, if you ever do get it. I'm not sure, but I think it is. It's more butterflies. There's a lot of people hanging around, considering there's nobody else living anywhere near them. All those houses around the lake are empty. That's a mariner gnome there lying at the foot of the steps. Mr. Mariner Gnome. It's getting dark. Looks like Olwen's standing out there that she's been talking with Simone, and the paparazzi have been watching. Simone soon went downstairs and started practicing the guitar. Everybody else was playing the guitar, so she felt she might enjoy learning it as well. And of course she soon had an audience. There we go, from left to right. That's Olive, and we've got Oscar in the front playing with the blocks. He's working on his childhood skills. There's Olive going, and Olivia is standing there in the yellow top, and Owen. He's heading off to the toilet by the look of it. Oscar's got to run out. He's got his crown back on now. Olivia's enjoying the concert. And here's Jean. He's arrived. He hasn't come to watch Simone. He's come to have a chat with his daughter.
Gaznish. Wibza. Changabana Tanushka. Arbukal Kanab. Kunana. Skoma. Prenelli Soba. Rune. Werny. Clark.
Chimsha. Griggle Flarnuk Sabia?
Well, Bwip Snorkel. Shishuba. Danva. Wafu Tunu Glarni. Glebvuva.
Chadura. Shishaba.
So now Oscar's changed into his helmet again. He can't decide if he wants to be a king or a racing driver. Looks like Olivia is tired. Jean's heading off as well. Oh, and Oscar's going to work on his cooking skill. He's got to complete his childhood skills before we'll let him age up to teen. So Jean's only gone as far as the computer. He's sitting there playing computer games. So if he can already make a pie, he can't have much to do before he will finish his cooking skill. Because Oscar's the only one in this household that can use this oven. So it can't have been anybody else who made that pie. Had a bit of a break from cooking to give his doll a hug. He's got to finish off that cooking skill. We're not going to let him just start it and not finish. Definitely have to give him his traits, because I know exactly what traits he's going to have to get when he ages up. So we can't have this game giving him something random. If he gets different trait from the original Oscar, well then Oscar and Louise' story won't be the same. I think he's just completed his cooking skill just then. So he's just got to make sure his block skill is complete as well. So that'll be it. Oscar has done his cooking skill. Oh, and Owen is finishing off his sculpture in the background. Looks like he's making a chair. And Oliver is waiting to get that pie that Oscar has made. He's going to get very annoyed shortly. There he is. Oscar's in the way. He can't get to his pie. Oliver has decided he must eat. I've been building a bedroom just behind the stairs there for Oliver. We've already got bedrooms built for Simone and Owen, and they share a bathroom, which is a 4x4 corner bathroom. But Oliver, he won't be able to have another bedroom adjoining him, and he needs access to his own bathroom, so he's going to get a small bathroom that just will fill up that space where the sculpting machine is. Next morning, and Simone's outside watching a red cardinal bird. All she can do is watch. There's a few light beetles running around. She might catch some of them as well. And she goes downstairs. She's going to read a book at the computer desk. That should make everybody upset. Nobody can use the computer while she's sitting there to read. Might have to move the bookcase or move the computer, one or the other, so that they will sit in the lounge chair. The settee in the background there. She should be sitting on it, not at the computer desk. And what the family are doing, they're trying to get one of each fish sent off to be mounted. They haven't got very many yet. Now, Simone, for some reason, decided she wanted to learn the science skill, and she headed over to that science machine. What she's doing at this stage is researching science. A bit later on, Jean arrived, so she managed to get him involved in a pillow fight. It should improve their friendship and give her more chance of success with him, but she didn't get very far yet. And she's gone for a swim out in the ocean this time. She's got nobody with her. It's just Simone and the sharks. But she's a mermaid, so she can handle the sharks. And that would be the end of the video. Except before we end, I think we'll have a quick look at that caldera. There's a rainbow, and you see how there's a ring of mountains around, or ring of hills around the area where the house is. The house is straight down the bottom of that hill, all the way down. And it's nice big circular space, completely encircled by hills. And there's a pool in the middle. And I think that looks to me very much like a extinct volcano, or a very old volcano. So that's the end of the video, and thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and happy simming. Bye bye for now. Hello, Carrots here. Welcome to Oscar's Childhood, Part 6. Life goes on in Irwin. It's the beginning of winter. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and Gene has gone outside and he's standing in the snow contemplating the bushes that are growing beside the house. So Simone has gone out to have a chat with him. You know, she really wants to get to know this man. He's so nice and so attractive, and she needs a man in her life, and if she can get Gene, she'll be happy. But if she can't, she'll settle for Owen. That's what her decision has been. So she's going to keep working on Gene. He doesn't know that yet. He's still just happy with his wife, Nola. And he's actually quite flattered that this gorgeous young mermaid is so interested in him and prepared to spend time talking with him. Even coming out into the snow at 3 o'clock in the morning when he was out there examining the bushes. But Simone's got other things on her mind. Now Gene's gone back inside with Simone hot on his heels. When they got down to the basement, Simone played the guitar till Gene was there, and then she stopped because she thought it was time to spend some more time working on Gene to see if they could become friends. Owen's becoming quite a sculptor. Olwen was watching Simone play the guitar, but she's gone off now that Simone stopped playing. Gene's just there without realising what's happening, talking with Simone. Of course, Nola is aware that Simone and Gene are spending such a lot of time together, and she's beginning to feel a little neglected. But Gene's not aware of this either. He's just going along, being himself. Owen is starting to notice that his father seems to be spending way too much time talking with Simone, so he stops his sculpting for a while to watch what's going on. He's so used to having to talk to people because he's in the music career that he hasn't thought about the effect it might be having on Nola. But Nola's gone and got a betrayed moodlet, so she's headed off on her own to the library. She's hoping she might read a few books while she's there and maybe feel better. But while she's at the library, there's a new person in town, and Nola really wants to talk to someone. So she puts the book down and introduces herself to the stranger. Now the stranger soon puts her book down as well, and they start chatting. Nola quickly learns that the stranger's name is Fleur, and she's brand new in town and can't afford to buy herself a house. There's plenty of empty houses, but they're all too expensive. Nola notices there's something a little bit different with this stranger. She doesn't quite know what it is. But she seems really nice to talk to. And she's telling her all about her children. The stranger's very politely talking about cooking and things that she likes to do. And after a while, Nola thinks, well, why don't you come home with me? You can stay at our place until you've got somewhere of your own that you can live. Olive was sitting upstairs watching TV, and Fleur sat beside her and did something really weird. Now this is something that none of the household have had any experience with before, and they have got no idea what's going on. They're wondering how they could do that. It's a really strange thing to do when you're supposed to be sitting in a chair watching the TV. But they don't think anything of it. They've got Simone living with them, and she's a bit different as well. Just not interfering with the TV experience from Olive. The Jean's coming, so Olive wants to get up and have a chat with her father.
Wibby Tonga, Argo Yebzagwe.
And Fleur just keeps on going, whatever it is she's doing.
Ripsil, Bobats, Bashu, Zuna, Kashlu, Luna.
They're all clueless, they have no idea what's happening, so they decided to ignore her. She's obviously quite happily occupied there and not doing anybody any harm.
Yabablukuzo. Duza Maknord Shornalish.
Olive likes to cook, and so she's enjoying this conversation with Jean. He's telling her all about cooking, and now she's talking about writing to a letter to some people that are off in the distance somewhere. Yes, it's winter. She needs to change into her warm clothes to go outside, and now suddenly Jean's noticed. Whatever is this new person doing? Looks quite amusing. Oh, she's finished. Fleur's quite delighted to have found herself so easily in the bosom of a new family. Uh-oh, pillow fight.
No, Yarma. You're miss!
This family seems to love to do pillow fights. I've had to move the sculpting table from where it was because now Oliver has got his own little bathroom where the sculpting table used to be. They've been saving up their money and they've got enough simoleons saved now to build a bedroom for each of the two girls. But now Fleur's arrived, that might change plans a bit. So Simone is there working on the science machine, researching science again, while Fleur has a chat with the butterflies. Her voice sounds a bit strange too. So it looks like things have improved between Nola and Jean. I think he's convinced her that there's really only one woman for him. And she's very relieved to hear that. Meanwhile, Fleur is working on the guitar. Then she went upstairs to eat one of Oscar's cakes that he made, a little cupcake, when he was working on his cooking skill on the children's toy oven. I think it was good too because she seems quite happy about it. And she's just left the dirty plate on the table. So now Nola and Oliver are having a pillow fight. Oh dear, this is not good. Fleur just picked a bit of a fight with Owen. It looks like he's going to start another sculpture. As you can see, I moved the sculpting table over here, shuffle things around a bit. Going to have to do a bit of a shuffle again shortly when we add some new bedrooms in for the two girls and a bathroom for them to share as well. Oh, what's she up to? So Owen's just going to play computer games. Oh, she went to scare Oscar. It's just a lazy Sunday at home. Everybody's just doing whatever they want to do. It's a bit cold to be out in the snow. Nobody really feels like building snowmen. So they're playing guitar and computer games, video games and whatever.
Lorn, what's a cut? Lornji, you see who?
Looks like Olive is a bit worried that her parents might not be going to stay together for much longer with that mermaid in the house, Simone, who's persistently chasing her father. But I think Nola and Jean have patched things up now. Back down to the basement.
Mission blah. What?
Dadaway. Belkawi.
Basta.
They're building friendship and charisma skills while they chat with each other. There's the toad on the wall.
Kagawala.
This is a new basement layout. I added the 2 new bedrooms and bathroom at the top left corner, and I've finished off the wall for the central part of the basement, and now their science machine and a few other things are in that other corner. The top bedroom, which has got the 2 beds in it, is shared by the girls, Olwen and Olive, and Fleur has got the other bedroom that was going to be a bedroom for one of the other girls, but now that Fleur's there, she's needed a room of her own. And Oscar will have the room upstairs with the bunk beds in it, but they've run out of money, so they can't buy him a new bed yet, so he's only got the bunk beds still. And of course Oliver is down in the bottom left corner, Owen is in the bottom middle, and Simone has got the room on the right. They've had their rooms for quite a while. The new rooms are on the top left, and the 2 new bedrooms in the top left share that bathroom. And all the doors are locked, so only the people that have got access to the rooms are the ones who own the rooms, or the ones who share the bathroom that belongs to the room that they own. I thought he might have been talking to Simone again then, but no, it's his daughter, Olive. So there's Oscar and Fleur having a pillow fight now. She's getting a bit rough with him.
What? No.
I don't think Oscar likes Fleur.
Working? Houdini? What?
Doesn't look hopeful, does it? Actually, there's not too many in the household that do like her. She's either an acquaintance or an enemy of, or disliked of just about everybody. She doesn't seem to be a very pleasant sort of a person to have in the house. Although Nola's still quite happy with her. I think she's going to work on Nola so that Nola will always protect her and keep her in the house, because she quite likes this house. And now we've put the new bedrooms in, but the girls have to share a room, because the room that they were going to have one each of, well, they've got one to share between the 2 of them, and another one which has been given to Fleur. So Olwen and Olive are sharing a bedroom, but it's better than having to sleep all four people in the bunk beds upstairs. Only Oscar is in the bunk beds now, and he'll get his own bed shortly as soon as they've got some more money. But they've spent all the money that they had so far on the improvements by adding the bedrooms and furnishing them. We'll see more of those new bedrooms in a later episode, because this one is coming to an end now. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you again in the next episode. Bye bye for now, and happy simming. Hello, welcome to Oscar's Childhood Part 7. And here's Oscar. His traits: party animal, artistic, easily impressed. When we first met Oscar, he was a happy child in the middle of a very warm and loving family. His life was secure. He had no worries. It was just pure fun of being alive. The trouble started when his 2 older brothers aged up from teen to young adult. First it was Owen, and then not long after, Oliver aged up. Everything started to change after that point. They were still nice to Oscar, but things were different. They weren't the same as they used to be. It made Oscar feel unsettled. It started to get really awkward when Owen brought that mermaid Simone home, and Simone kept running around after Jean, as their father. Poor Jean. He was at home being pursued by a mermaid. Whenever she spoke to him, he stopped and he spoke to her. After all, she lived in their house, and he was always polite, But then the trouble really started when their mother, Nola, Jean's wife, started to wonder why he spent so much time with Simone. And then things really erupted when Owen, who was interested in Simone, got very upset one day when Simone spent too long talking to their father and accused Jean of cheating on their mother with Simone. Now this shocked Jean because he wasn't aware of anything to do with cheating. He loved his wife. He was not interested in Simone at all. He was simply being polite. He spoke to her when she spoke to him, and that was it. Couldn't understand what had happened. Then Nola had been very upset, and she went off to the library where she met that dreadful woman, Fleur, and brought her home to move in with them. Oscar didn't like Fleur at all. There was something diabolically strange about Fleur. Unfortunately, Nola wasn't aware of the problem. She was too upset and distracted by her own problems, the issues she had with Jean and Simone. And added to that, of course, was the fact that Fleur was a schmoozer. She was an expert at talking and manipulating her way into any situation where she perceived there may be an advantage for her, regardless of the effect her actions may have on other people. Jean thought he'd made it up with Nola, explaining everything to her, and he thought that she understood. Jean had recently spent all of his money on adding 2 bedrooms and a bathroom to the house for their daughters, Olive and Olwen. And when he went to the courthouse to try to sue for slander in order to hopefully clear his name, he didn't have enough money to pay the lawyers. So there was nothing he could do about it other than come back home and sleep on the couch. Fortunately, he didn't realise he was sleeping under a stuffed toad on the wall. Now, Jean was in the music industry, so he had late mornings and late nights, so he liked to sleep in. But his 2 sons had to start work early in the mornings because they were in the military career and the other one was a paper boy. Now, the paper boy woke up very early and decided to play computer games. This is what he preferred to do every morning and saw no reason to change his habits just because his father was trying to sleep on the couch. Meanwhile, Oscar was sleeping upstairs. He had his bedroom all to himself now, even though he was still sleeping in bunk beds. Fortunately, Jean was about to get a raise at work. He had advanced in his career from fan to roadie, and so there was soon going to be enough money to buy him a nice new bed, especially when they had sold both of those bunk beds that are in the room at the moment. Outside, while Oscar sleeps, I wouldn't say it's a dreamless sleep, it's quite a disturbed sleep. It happens to be the night of the full moon, and there are zombies out in their yard. Now, Oscar knew about zombies, and he was usually frightened of them, but they had so much on his mind with what was going on within the family that he completely forgot about them and didn't even notice their snarls and growls that were on just outside his room. If he'd known about them, he would have been very frightened, because normally, when it's night of the zombies, his room is filled with his older brothers and sisters who were there to take care of him. But tonight, he was in his room all on his own for the very first time ever, and the zombies were out. I think he was quite right to be worried about Fleur, because I know more about Fleur than he does. And she's not a nice sim at all. She's gone out in the middle of the night to pick up a magic gnome that had been kicked over by a zombie in the snow. And while she was out there, she thought she'd have a bit of a conversation with the zombies. She might learn something about some new ways of being evil. But all they did was snarl and growl. So she collected the mail before she went inside again after spending a little time communicating with the zombies. The zombies did what they usually did, they just ignored her. She wasn't very interesting to them at all, actually. I bet those Sims wake up in the morning with a terrible headache and wonder what they did all night once a zombification wears off them. That frightened her a little bit. That's amazing she didn't retaliate. She's quite a powerful sim. She's actually 100% alien in disguise as a human. Her traits are dislikes children, evil, schmoozer, ambitious, mean-spirited, and she wants to be the emperor of evil. And I'm wondering how long it's going to take for the family to work out what she really is, and if they'll work it out in time, and will they be able to get her to move out before she does any real damage to the household. At this point, she's just being mean and nasty and making them upset, and things could get a lot worse for them. And even if she moves out, will she leave them alone? So she went downstairs, and they've got a new seahorse stuffed and on the wall now at the foot of the steps. And here comes Simone. I wonder what she wants. Fleur is not having much success with Jean, is she? She's trying to cause trouble between Jean and Nola. It looks like there's trouble between Simone and Owen as well. I suppose Simone isn't very happy that Owen accused her and his father of being up to no good together, and all they were doing was chatting.
Kagawala.
I think it's about time those two females got a job each as well, because they're not earning any income, they're just eating the food and taking up space. There's the seahorse. I thought you might like to see it up close. Another one of my favourites is the coral polyp. That looks nice up close as well. You get both of the coral polyp and the seahorse when you go diving. Then I got the bright idea of giving you a close-up picture of most of their mounted sea life, most of which they caught while scuba diving in the ocean. I think you'll recognise most of them easily enough. That's the Lynchia starfish. They're hard to see on the seafloor. And the eel, and this one's an anemone, and a squid, and finally an octopus. So here goes Owen off to work in the military career. It's still a bit dark out, but the sun is coming up. The zombies have all gone. And there's Oliver, ready to go to work as well. The car's out there waiting for him, but he's talking to his father, and he's forgotten about going to work. When he finally remembers, he runs out and catches a taxi. Leaves the car there, the carpool car there waiting for him. Now we've got a threesome. There's only these three and the teens and Oscar left at home, and they'll be at home until the school bus arrives. Let's see if these three can work out their differences, come to some sort of a truce. Actually, the two girls are there somewhere too. They'll be probably downstairs getting themselves ready for school. There's the school bus now. And Jean's outside talking to Oscar as he heads off to school. Oscar's doing quite well at school. He's up to grade B. He's just got a little bit more work on his childhood skills. And Nola will achieve her lifetime wish, because once he's got all of his skills and he gets to grade A at school, he'll be able to age up to teen. And then she will have raised 5 children from baby to teen, thereby achieving her lifetime wish. And I'd like her to achieve her lifetime wish. Jean's lifetime wish might take a bit longer to achieve. That's Olwen. She's always running a little bit late this morning, but she's not in her warm clothes. She's wearing a summer outfit in the snow for some reason. So off they go. We'll have a little peek at the neighbourhood under a blanket of snow. And the only ones at home now are Jean and Nola, Simone and Fleur. The bus goes over the bridge. That's a little area where the houses are. And their house is the house that's closest to us. Nobody lives in the other houses yet. Maybe the boys could move out there when they grow up, or when they get married. They've already grown up, they're young adults. But perhaps those empty houses would be a good place for the boys to move to with their families. Here we go. Nola's got an audience Everything seems to be quite calm inside at the house at the moment. There's Fleur. She's not even causing any trouble at all at the moment. She's lulling them all into a false sense of security because they don't know what she really is. Gene's worried about his lack of funds at the moment, so he's found a blue topaz in his inventory, so he's decided to cut it so he can sell it. There's an octopus stuffed on the wall. There's an ice sculpture there too. That's the one that Owen was working on earlier. It'll probably melt soon. We should sell it before it melts. They're worth a lot of money. Gene sold it for 677 simoleons. And now Owen can make that sculpture. He can continue building it and he'll get more money for each one. I found sculpting is a very lucrative occupation for Sims. So Gene's going to talk to Fleur. Wonder if that will get him into trouble. Maybe not. It might get Fleur kicked out though eventually. Who can tell what's going to happen next with this lot? They don't seem to get on very well, him and Fleur. So Gene's gone off somewhere and Fleur's decided to pick a fight with Nola. Not very smart, Fleur. Gene's trying to relax. It's a bit stressful there, so he's on the computer game. Now for some reason, both Nola and Gene have got babies on their mind. Maybe they're planning to have a sixth child. Because Oscar is about to grow up and Nola probably would like another baby in the house. Neither of them have wishes for another child, but they do both often have baby bottles or baby girls in their thought bubbles when they're talking to other Sims. So I'm beginning to think that they'd like to balance their family out and end up with 3 girls to match their 3 boys, because at the moment they've only got 2 girls. You might actually notice the baby bottles and the baby, it's a little baby with the pink burrito baby with a little girl symbol beside it keeps coming up in their thought bubbles. So Owen's come home from work and he's having a pillow fight and Oliver's going upstairs to do her homework. 2 girls are home from school. Owen's home from work in a military career. He's certainly losing a lot of feathers out of those pillows. They're having a lot of fun together. I'll have to go swimming shortly because Simone is going to need some salt water or she'll stop being a mermaid and that won't be good. Well, they're talking about sharks, so there's a good chance that they'll end up swimming again shortly. Hopefully Simone is going to focus her attentions on him from now on and leave Gene alone. And Oscar's home from school. He's got his homework to do. And there's Oliver home from work as well. He's looking quite businesslike, but he is still a paper boy. He hasn't had a promotion yet. Owen's had a promotion. He's got up to level 2 in the military career. Yes, Owen's a mess hall server now. I think Oscar's now decided he really ought to put in a lot of effort for his homework and his schooling. So when he grows up, he'll be able to get a good job and move out of here. I think he's been talking to his big brother, Oliver, because Oliver is planning on moving to the city as soon as he can get some more promotions at work. He wants to be a star news anchor. Oscar doesn't know what he wants to do yet. Right now, he mostly just wants to get as far away as he can from Fleur. He's a B-grade student, so it won't be long before he'll be an A-grade student. You'll have to get him to work on his block skills. See, there's the baby in her thought bubble. She must be telling Simone that she's going to have another baby with Gene. This one's going to be a baby girl. You can see she's got a mind on her children.
Zorkel?
So when all the homework is finished, they will go outside and start building snowmen, try to repair some of the damage that the zombies made in the previous night. Looks like these two are up to something. There's an argument going on there now. Oscar and Oliver. I think, yes, that's it. They're going to have a game of tag while their mother has an argument with Simone in the background. The sun's going down, the sky's pink, and it's not snowing, but it's still very cold. There's plenty of snow about. So we'll leave the video here with these two having fun playing in the snow with each other, playing tag. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye for now, and happy simming.